Hello, it's Laura Joy. So, I used to play basketball for this basketball team called the Warriors. They were in Altoona, Iowa, and I wasn't very good. I was pretty bad at it because I didn't understand the game at all. I didn't really understand where I was supposed to be and why. So, some things about that. So, I learned how to overcome my difficulty with exercising from playing basketball. That is something that was really important to me in my life, that time where I would play basketball and get with the girls and exercise, run around the gym, run around, run back and forth, go and touch the ground, then go the other side, touch the ground like 10 times or something. And then the relay races, those are super fun. I don't think I did very well at most of these things, but I had fun. I had a lot of fun. So, what do I want to say about this? One day we were exercising. We were like doing the squats and holding it there. And, it was the fire feet, where you stand up and like fire feet your feet on the ground and try to do that for a long time. I couldn't do it after a while. My body shut down. It was after a ton of other exercise, but my body shut down. And I remember the teacher, her name was also Laura, and the coach, her name was Laura. She told me, "Come on, Laura, keep going, keep going, keep going." And like, I couldn't. And her face fell, and I'll always remember that, her face falling with me not doing what she asked me to do. And it was heartbreaking to me. And after that moment, I've always tried to push myself, not necessarily with exercising, because my body just doesn't exercise very well. I just don't. But with life circumstance, keep on going even when I shut down. Mentally, I can forgive myself for not being able to do something. That's important. Sometimes we just cannot keep going. And that's fine. You're not a bad person for doing that. We gotta forgive ourselves for what we do. We gotta forgive ourselves for not being good enough. We gotta forgive ourselves for our addictions. It's really hard to get over a habit that's a comfort. It's really hard to stop a habit that is a comfort. Like, even just with my YouTube channel, it would be hard for me to stop making videos because I do it so often, and it gives me comfort to know that I can reach someone out in the world, that I can add value to someone else's life by educating them with what I know about the world. Because, for one, it's entertaining, but two, it is important to learn from other people what they've been through and how you can apply it to your own life. So, yeah. Okay. So the first basketball experience that I went through was going to basketball camp when I was really young. I was like 7, 5. That's where I had this uh, episode, 2 episodes actually, where the ball bounced into my face and it knocked my teeth out several times. And that's where I first learned how to deal with pain, was my teeth being knocked out. So I got a trophy thing for best improved one year, and I know that's not really what I was going for. I was going for like I was going for a different award in basketball camp, but they them giving me that reward really helped me actually for the first time feel good about myself, feel good about something that I did, because I was so focused on everything around me. And as a kid, you're not really focused on yourself at all. But then when somebody helps you focus on yourself, you really realize that you needed that. So, one thing we did was try to bounce like a little ball. It wasn't a basketball, it was a little tiny bouncy ball, like super tiny. And that was one exercise we did, was to just bounce that and then switch hands and bounce it with the other hand. Oh, that was difficult. That was so difficult. Doing that while doing fire feet. That was when I was really young, when I could do it for longer. So I think we did push-ups in basketball camp. I think we did do that. And then sit-ups and running, and I didn't learn too much about the game. I didn't. I still don't understand basketball. Like, why are we switching sides all of a sudden? Why are we going here instead of there? What is this play? Why are we doing this right now? And it just, for me, I need permission to do something. So I just don't get it. I can't play it right now. I love shooting hoops, though. Don't get me wrong. I love doing that. But I don't understand the game. Also, something I need to talk about. I played with some like boys one time, a couple times, and what they do is they take the ball and they have it the whole time. Nobody passes to you, even if you are standing right there. They ignore you. And that is really saddening to me, because I'm not someone that just goes and steals from other people. I don't do that. Even if it's a little thing like a ball, like, I have in my mind that's yours. So I just psychologically, I just don't do it. I just don't steal something from someone. Have you ever seen the movie Glory Road? I love that commercial. I've seen it, the movie, but one line that stuck out to me is that you gotta go after the ball, and they're not gonna give it to you, but you gotta take it. So I like literally cried when I heard that, because of that situation. It happens over and over again. I just never have the ball. I never have a chance to prove myself, because they will not pass it. And I think that's one way people bully other people when they're on the basketball court, is they never pass the ball to them. They're just like, they're trying to work their hardest, play, but they can't play, and they don't get an opportunity because they're never given the opportunity. They're not placed in the right place. And the coach really needs to step in and say, you gotta pass the ball. to this person, and I know they don't look like they can handle it to you, but they can. You gotta believe in people, even if they look small. There was this kid that played basketball at our church, and he was really short for the longest time. He's not anymore, but he was for the longest time. And he just got the most baskets I had ever seen, because he would go around you, and he would just know all the nooks and crannies to go through, and he had the ball all the time, and he would just get the most shots, and he was really hard to play against because he knew what he was doing. And that's always so cool to me, because he was short and he was playing basketball, but that doesn't determine whether or not you're a good player. If you're tall and you can't shoot a hoop, what's the point of being tall? It's about your eyes. You gotta train your eyes and your hands, eye-hand coordination and control and direction and core strength. That's a lot of basketball. So some other sports I've done have been gymnastics. That was a big part of my life. Then a little bit of tumbling and ballet, just a little bit. I didn't do too much ballet or tumbling, but I learned a lot about small, faint exercises you can do that weren't they looked like they were doing too much, but now I do it, and sometimes it even seems like too much because I just don't exercise anymore. Sometimes, okay, I'm trying to dance to exercise right now, but it's not the same as gymnastics. In gymnastics, we had to do 100 push-ups, go and do our other exercises, and then at the end of class, we had to do 100 more push-ups. And this is doing this to a 12-year-old kid. Oh my gosh, I was so proud of myself because I could do it. Another thing I did was taekwondo. We would stretch and stretch and stretch. Then we would go across the floor, and we would do the throat thing where you do that and somebody is stunned and they can't breathe for a second, so you just get the upper hand in that situation. So we would do that across the floor. Taekwondo is a Korean form of fighting, and they had the Korean flag. They had we would say something in Korean, and I completely forget what that was, but we would also say this pledge that was a promise to do things with perseverance, self-control, and an indomitable spirit. And that's something I need to tell myself. That's something I need to tell myself more often. So, all these activities, these PE classes, basically, they didn't seem like they were too much, but that was the majority of my school. And I really appreciated going to basketball camp, to tumbling, to ballet, to taekwondo, and swim team. I did that too. And What else did I do? I tried to do baseball. Um, I I haven't owned a bat for a while. I think my sister and I used to play it out in the yard, in the backyard, because we lived on a dead end street and the backyard was actually pretty decent sized. I live in Iowa and the prices of houses aren't too expensive, so my parents could afford like a good sized yard. So we played basketball in the backyard, and we would get the neighbors over, play with them, get my younger siblings, play with them. Um, yeah, I miss that yard. I used to go out on this playhouse deck that my dad made. He bought the materials and he put it together. And I would sit on that, look at the sky as a sunset, because here it was. I was sitting on this part, the sunset's over here, the school's over here, so people are playing the drums off in the distance, usually at night and in the morning. They would play at night and the morning. I think it was the thing that plays before football, usually. What is that? Drum team? Why can't I think of it? Okay, anyway, they were playing and I always wanted to be part of that. That's where my love of music came from. That's why I really gravitate towards listening to music, was from hearing them off in the distance. I never did that, but I always wanted to. That's why I want to create music, not just listen to it. So sports is important. It teaches you lots of life lessons. It teaches you to keep on going when you don't want to. And then it's community. I needed that in my life because I met people at these events, these sports events. I considered myself to have friends when I was there. A lot of them never really stuck with me. I don't know why that is, but a lot of them just don't know who I am anymore. But it was a blessing and I needed that at the time. You know, we have things in our lives because God knows when we can cope with a loneliness or an anxiety or a worry. And He knows when we can handle it. And sometimes, it seems like we can't handle it, but yet we're still here. We can handle it, I think that Bible verse has a lot to do with physically being able to handle something. Psychologically, maybe not. Maybe sometimes even physically, maybe not. But if you're still alive, you can handle it to a certain degree. That's just my thoughts on that. So, what are some sports I want to continue in the future? Right now the exercise I'm doing is in group, where we just do the lamest exercises on the face of the planet, but it's all some people know. And that I find really sad. But it can be fun still. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to show off and say, oh, I can do 100 push-ups when other people can't. I can't do 100 push-ups anymore. I can't. I can barely do 3. But you you can rejoice in those little tiny moments of being alive. You know, that's why I like to think of exercise as being rejoicing for being alive. I used to read the papers. Okay. Sorry, my mouth is dry. It's winter. I used to read the papers, and the papers would have funny faces of people playing sports. And I know that can be controversial, but still it made my day. That was the highlight of my day, was to read the paper and see somebody's face. That was just absolutely hilarious. And they used to like take shots of people in the wrong moments, kind of like a meme, but it's people in the wrong moments with a different view of what happened. Or they would just see what would happen, and it happens so quickly that you just don't realize it happens when you're there. But when you go back and look at the picture, you're like, oh, that happened. It was just hilarious. I think sometimes like people were sticking their butt out, or somebody was looking at somebody in a crazy way, or somebody was making a face like woo in the middle of a game, or just like looked weird while they're making a shot or something. It made my day. I was so little back then, but sports always will have a good place in my heart because I participated in it. And it doesn't seem as scary because I did that thing before when I was younger. I forgot to mention soccer. I played soccer. I love soccer. My favorite day in soccer was to go out and play when it was cold outside. Then you work up a sweat when you go across the field and kick the ball around. I understood how to play soccer back then. I don't anymore. But back then, I was really good at soccer, and I knew how to play it, and I loved playing it. But this one day, it was cold outside. My breath was just cold, but I was warm. And that was the best feeling because I had exercised. I felt good. And it was just perfect because I was so hot, but it was cold outside, you know. And I think it helped that my parents took us out, like, to McDonald's afterwards, to a restaurant, or out for ice cream. Out for ice cream. And my dad, he's like the ice cream man. He always takes us out for ice cream. He let me see. He was really good at telling us when to stop as far as how much we're spending on something. And he's going to places like the ice cream store to say, that's a little bit too much money. Let's get something a little smaller. Let's not get all that right now. And that helped me out because I really didn't need it. I didn't need a lot of food that I wanted. I ate enough, but that was the thing. I couldn't eat more than a certain amount, and my dad knew that, but I didn't know that. So I would like say, my eyes were bigger than my stomach. So I would say like, I want this and this and this and this and this. Why can't I have this? And he'd be like, no. And I would eat it and I'd be full. And I'm like, maybe I didn't need that. And after a while, I did learn that there was like this Burger King in the neighborhood that I grew up in. And we would go there and he would teach us how to spend our money with that. I would go walking by myself to Burger King. I would go walking with my sisters to Burger King and we would get something to eat there. It was like a fun thing to do. Oh my gosh, I'm just visualizing it. There was a gas station called Hardee's and it was bought out by Casey's, and I hated Casey's after that because I'm like, it was Hardee's. What happened to Hardee's? I think it was called Hardee's. It was such a long time ago. It was like not 2008. It was like 2007 or something. I wasn't too old back then. So I was born just in the nick of time to be before the turn of the century. So I'm a millennial. And the early 2000s is what I can remember. So I don't actually know when a lot of things happen. I just kind of guess. But it helps to relate it back to 2000, like when I was born, 2000, and where we are now, because oh my gosh, it's 2025 in a month. Oh my gosh, can you believe it? Okay, I've been talking for 3 minutes, under 30 minutes. Excuse me. I gotta go eat dinner. What should I eat for dinner? I ate a sandwich for lunch. It was a blueberry bagel with honey ham in it and provolone cheese on 2 sides, and it was buttered. Don't ask me. I don't know what I made, but it didn't taste too bad. It didn't. So what else should I eat? Okay. My roommate made cookies. I've been eating them all day. They are so good. He could run a bakery because they're giant. And I feel like my neighbor's watching me. Anyway, I need to just shut this blind. They're giant cookies. And I love me a giant cookie with lots of chocolate in it. Dark chocolate. Not milk chocolate. Milk chocolate is disgusting. Oh well. Okay. I'm gonna see if I can hit the 30-minute mark. Sorry. Okay. Hair in basketball. So when I was playing basketball, my hair was kind of long. I had my hair changes so much. When I was younger, very young, it was Dolly Parton blonde. It was so blonde. It was like ice blonde. You didn't even need purple shampoo for it. I didn't dye it, but it was that blonde. And then it slowly changed to like a dirty blonde. And then people started saying that they didn't like their hair being dirty blonde, and I thought I had to change my hair, so I did. Just for fun. I first dyed it black on the ends. Yeah, we're not talking about my hair. Okay, we're talking about hair in basketball. Anyway, you have to put your hair up in a bun or a ponytail. A bun is better because you don't want somebody grabbing your hair in the middle of basketball. Oh my gosh. That is the worst. That's happened to me before. Somebody grabbed my hair because they didn't like what I was doing and they wanted to be in the way. Another thing is I was swimming. When you're swimming, you got to put a cap on your head, which covers your ears and really makes the water stay in your ears. But I don't like swim caps. They're horrible. Ugh. So anyway, we've hit the 31-minute mark. I thank you for listening to me talk, and you have a good rest of your night and day and week and life. Anyway, take care.